the whole world is going through drastic changes, especially in the post-COVID world. And recently, the outburst of war between Russia and Ukraine, of course, very unfortunate indeed. The world is going to be different as we move ahead, especially with the revolution in technology, which you all, I suppose, represent here in this forum. I'm very happy to come across this alliance, which represent computer science or the wit of human intelligence, I would rather say like that. Not everybody can be aware of everything that is happening around us, even when we try our best, as there are massive changes, not just in our own sectors that we all represent, but all across in terms of globalization, technology, informations, and many other areas which is taking shape simultaneously. And these opportunity to interact with each other, like the alliance that you guys have formed, could be a very good learning exercise for all of us. As a professional working in brand marketing, or more popularly known as advertising in our part of the world, for over 2 decades, I welcome more younger minds like yourself to join our industry as things are transforming drastically, even in the advertising world. Not just because of the last 2 years of COVID period, but it has already started to transform even before March 2020. I mean, like the pre-COVID period. And in fact, COVID has only worked further to expedite the process. Not just in my sector, but I suppose in almost all the business categories. These unprecedented times for almost 2 years now, and we all are trying to get back to normal life since a month now after the third wave. These times have taught us many new lessons. And as a professional, I strongly feel that empathy is going to play a larger role in the spectrum of marketing ecosystem. And we, as a Nepalese, should be proud that the concept of empathy and compassion is something Lord Buddha has been preaching the world from a very beginning. And today, it feels very good to see the same thinking is being part of our business management and evolving marketing ecosystem. Currently, like Rajul introduced, I head Outreach Group based in Kathmandu, which consists of 5 business verticals specialized in marketing ecosystem: Outreach, Lemon, Digital In, Creo, and Media Reach. And like he said in the beginning, my book on advertising, Brandsutra, was published in the year 2015. And hopefully some of you might have heard about it. I'm sure you must have heard a lot about the clean feed policy that got implemented recently by the government around October 2020 during the lockdown period itself. And this new policy of clean feed going forward has opened many new opportunities for us as a marketing professionals as it evolves, creating content specific to Nepal with Nepali actors while we see it from the surface. But if we really open our minds and look at this opportunity, it will mean the whole process of Nepalization for many global brands. I have also been writing about the importance of Nepalizations in different forums, especially outside Nepal, and I will later share those articles in the chat box for your ready reference. This has triggered the larger discussion on many relevant marketing topics which were largely ignored in the past. Please remember, marketing is a thinking job. Unless sales, which is persuasive, legwork, and hardcore follow-ups. In marketing, strategy is the key to create mind space and perception in the consumer minds. While in sales, it's all about market share in the soft floor. As marketers, we now have to deep dive and understand consumer insights, culture, and social acceptance of each project, bringing true brand essence in the process. Many global companies and brands, especially the one who has interact with me or many in my own client portfolio, have taken this thinking very positively, and most of them are already working towards exploring such opportunities in this new context. I'm sure you must have come across many local creatives for global brands in the recent time, which are now produced in Nepal with local actors. Like Mountain Dew has just launched a new film with Anup Bikram. I'm sure you might have seen that recently. There's a film by Pepsi, Happy Dent, Centerfruit, Sunslick, Asian Paints, like Himalayan Herbal Products, Setwet, Lifebuoy, Daraz, Samsung, and many more. Encel especially has been producing many good stories in the format of ad films, which are completely produced by the local team. And I'm sure you might have come across this new campaign, your new campaign, hashtag possible for Savai. Happy to say that most of them are our group clients, and my team has been working with the extended brand team at the client side as a one strong team to produce these campaigns in Nepal despite challenges in the current situations. I'm very proud of my team, which consists of both younger generations, people like yourself, millennials, an experienced team, largely from Generation Y, who works together to overcome the current challenges to keep the ball rolling. I will try to showcase few works at the end of the session if we have some time left at the end. Now, coming back to my topic of today, transformation of marketing ecosystem. Rather, it's not just about the marketing ecosystem, but the whole human interface. I'm sure you agree. I'm sure as a part of the Computer Science Alliance, you all are reading many materials to keep yourself up to date with the happenings around the world. Few words or topics are becoming more and more popular in a current context, and everybody is talking about them, particularly in the business world or with startups, as entrepreneurship is getting much limelight in the recent time, especially in our part of the world, South Asia, led by India, Indian entrepreneur success stories. I'm sure you all have been watching the TV program Shark Tank, which I'm told is soon to get launched in Nepal as well. Now, can you tell me what are those keywords or subjects that are on discussion in marketing world as marketing is integrating together with technology? Let me trigger you one such word, just for us to brainstorm. MarTech, or the full form is marketing technology. That might be one reason a marketing professional like myself is today speaking to the alliance of computer science like yourself, as a technology is becoming more integral part of marketing strategy. I give you 2 minutes to type similar other relevant words that is becoming more and more relevant while marketing and technology is coming together. Your 2 minutes starts now. You can, maybe there is a chat box where you can type it out, or you can even unmute and speak. Okay, somebody has written search engine optimization. Okay, that is one format of digital marketing. SEO, that's again same. Market acquisition, yeah. Somebody is saying, talking about that as well. I think it's also called customer acquisitions. because it has become now possible with technology. Anybody else? Okay, no worries. There are some words that you guys have spelled out. I'm very happy with some of them because those are also part of the kind of work that we do. But let me give you a few key subjects or words in context to brand marketing and advertising today. Few key subjects like big idea, data science, consumer insights, machine learnings, business transformations are such topics which has taken center stage in marketing today. To tell you frankly, even I'm in the process of learning them and yet to understand some of these subjects properly. But I know they are going to be of importance if I need to grow in my profession as I move from here. And one such word, which I'm very excited to speak today and has relevance in context to both marketing and technology, is disruption. But disruption, as I know, is not just relevant for marketing and technology, but it has larger implication in everything around us. I'll speak about few examples on this as we move ahead. Just to build the context and make you understand what is happening in the marketing world, one of the largest international advertising group based in Japan, they are known as Dentsu, has coined a new corporate philosophy for the organization, and they now call themselves creatively led, data-driven, technology-enabled company. Just imagine Dentsu, which is a listed Tokyo Stock Exchange company, an almost 100-year-old advertising group, now is not just speaking about creativity, which is largely old school advertising domain, but now also stands for data and technology, not just creativity or media planning and buying, which is a traditional concept. Similarly, the world's largest advertising group, WPP, has a new mantra for the organization and called themselves Creative Transformation Company. The word transformation is the key, as now their philosophy again is not just about creativity as per the old practices, but to help their client transform their businesses as per the new requirement, which has lots of technological elements. By the way, both these two communication groups and other three such large groups which control 90% of advertising business across the world, they are known as WPP, Dentsu, Omnicom, Publicis, and Interpublic, are huge communication conglomerates registered in New York, London, and Tokyo Stock Exchange as the listed blue chips companies. All these apps we use in our smartphones on a daily basis, like Facebook, YouTube, Google, TikTok, Instagram, their business models are directly correlated with advertising revenue and data they generate in terms of understanding consumer habits, which is eventually utilized for advertising planning. In this context, they are saying data is the new gold or the oil of this new world. So disruption is the word I'll try to elaborate further as I speak today. Can anybody attempt to tell me what is disruption? You can unmute yourself to speak or type in a chat box as per your comfort. Let me give you 2 minutes again. Would anybody like to try to answer? What does the disruption means to you in your own language? Yes, I think Suraj Roka would like to do that. You can unmute yourself, Suraj, and do it.
I guess so disruption भन्ने बित्तिकै चाहिँ ठ्याक्कै दिमागमा आउँदा चाहिँ डिस्टर्बेन्स भनेर चाहिँ Also, so maybe कुनै event, कुनै occasion मा disturbance create भयो भने that's disruption, I guess.
Yeah, it's also, yeah, your own interpretations. There could be a lot of different interpretations. Thank you for that. But let me also now try to, like, do it on my own in terms of what disruption could mean. Disruption is all about taking risks, questioning the status quo, the traditional way of doing things, departing from the norms by breaking conventions to accelerate growth. The whole objective is to bring more growth to what we've been doing. And that is what the technology, is meant to do. I suppose the team like yourself is working towards that, and you guys are the future in bringing these kind of thinking to this market. Like I said in the beginning, pandemic has changed many things. And one such disruption that is happening today is the way we are conducting this session, which could have been done more proactively in a certain specified venue, right? In person. A case in point is Zoom, which we are using right now, that has 10 million participants in December 2019, now has over 300 million participants by April 2020. And I'm sure it has increased further by now. One such disruptive trend in marketing that was even clear before pandemic was the move from traditional media like TV, print, radio to digital activities. The pandemic has further accelerated digital transformation journey in the marketing world. More attention is now focused on technology, e-commerce, data, and social media presence, and this will continue to grow. Similarly, the pandemic has added reasons for brand marketers to reduce the numbers of partners they have been working with. The need for efficiency, the need to scale the marketing money. Going forward, advertisers will be increasingly looking for consolidations of their marketing spends with fewer partners, largely for the purpose of integrated approach. Therefore, there is no room for separate digital or traditional or a media agency. All of them have to come together to offer a consolidated service as one strong partner. Disruption is not about settling for the way things are being done in the past, but finding new ways of doing same or different things. It's about bringing radical changes. How can we do this in marketing or in technology for that matter? They say we can do that by creating contrasting messages which questions the existing norms or by doing unusual presentation of our ideas. Technology has disrupted everything from product and services we use to the way we shop. Who are the key competitors for the five-star luxury hotels today? Or a large format supermarket is the key questions. Is Solti Hotel, which is one of the luxury hotel which has been there in Nepal for quite some time, competing with Marriott, which is just open up, or Radisson of this world? Who is the real competitor of Bad Batini? They are a very large format supermarket here. That's the key question we need to answer today in business because of the technological disruption we all are going through. You can compete between a regular competitors like Toyota competing with Maruti, or Maruti competing with Hyundai or BMW by a traditional marketing process of differentiation and process positioning. But how to compete with somebody who does not even have a similar product line like yourself, but at the same time fulfill the same or similar consumer need or requirements, which you have been fulfilling for so many years, is another key question we need to start thinking. Bad Batini is not just competing with Salisbury or Big Mart of this world, or a neighborhood shop of Ramkrishna Dai or Sita Didi next to our homes, but they now have to compete with Daraz, Sastodil, a smartphone-based app which people can use with the power of their fingertips. Daraz, during the 11/11 campaign in 2021, had over 7 lakh purchasers and 12,000 sellers with over 30 crore worth of business in one day. And they crossed around 5 crore business achieved in the very first 1 hour. As you might be aware, Daraz is an Alibaba Group company, and 11/11, or as they call it, a single day campaign, is done by Alibaba companies all across the world. Alibaba did USD 74 billion US business during the 11/11 campaign in one day across the companies in the world, which is much larger than the GDP of Nepal. For our knowledge, Nepal GDP is estimated at about 30 billion USD in 2019. The regular hotels like Hotel Himalaya, I'm just next to that hotel, my office, which is not far from my office, now will have to compete with Oyo rooms or Airbnb. It's almost like Viber, WhatsApp, or Messengers competing with mobile phone companies. I'm sure you guys are also using Viber, Messengers to speak to your friends and families. There are telephone calls in recent times, right? But don't get confused. Not everything is only digital. The marketing transformation does not mean digital is the only future. Digital is like a new girlfriend. So everybody is talking about it. It's always cool to talk about the change. What we should not forget is the consumer journey and how to understand them. If you study consumer journey, we can clearly map a person through their day which crisscrosses between both digital world and the real world. Both goes hand in hand. In the process, the task is to build a narrative of the brand through the journey of a person, not just looking at things from a conventional format where we used to divide the journey sharply between digital and traditional touchpoints, but learnings to acknowledge the fact that both go together. As in conventional marketing, we call it integrated approach to create a largely impactful brand story. Therefore, it has become more and more important to have a story of the brand. Why are we here? What does it matter? Who we are for? All these are very critical for the success of the brand. That's why I said marketing is largely a thinking job where you work to create clear brand strategy in terms of defining target group, segmentation, positioning, and basic 4Ps. I'm sure there are some business students here. They would understand what I mean if they have studied Philip Kotler. It is not just about creating awareness about product availability, functional benefit, or showcasing lifestyle related to brand uses or prestige involved with it, but delivering message with empathy in context to the larger target consumer we cater to. What do we say? What do we do? What do we believe in? Or what are the behaviors? We actually need to align all these so we can drive and inspire others with the vision of our brand. Going forward, I strongly feel it will be an empathy which will help to create the salience for the brand. We have been talking about sheer economy, knowledge, opinions, and views in the current globalized world. The hyper-connected world is increasingly providing more avenues to amplify this behavior. A happy person helps to attract and engage another person towards a product, idea, or a brand. The idea is to have an open relationship, and creativity will help to flourish the empathy further. And all the consumer touch point will have to be creatively humanized. Thank you very much for being here with me today and listening to me. I really hope I'm able to inspire a little bit today. I once again thank Nepal Computer Science Alliance for this opportunity to speak with you all. I'm also looking forward to your questions so we can have some interaction around the topic I discuss now or anything else in relevance to my profession. I will try my best to answer them, not guarantee that I can answer all of them because I'm also in the process of learning. At the end of the Q&A session, I would like to showcase few of our recent work from my team, if the time permits. We'll decide on that as per the time left at the end.
Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful presentation. It was indeed illuminating. I hope everyone was able to derive as much information from it as I myself was able to. I hope our audience members have plenty of questions for you. If they don't, definitely we have our registrants who have sent in a lot of questions. But I would like to prioritize the ones present here to receive the questions. So the ones in the Zoom chat, if you could leave your questions there, or if you could unmute yourself and ask questions to sir directly, you are most welcome. If nobody present has any questions at the moment, I will proceed with questions that the registrants have sent in. Should we do that, sir? What do you think?
Sure. We can start with some of the questions that you have, and then we can take the other questions as well as we move from there.
Okay, sure, sir. Okay, let me scroll through them. Here's one of the more interesting ones that I found. Someone has asked, do you perceive memes to be an effective marketing strategy in today's world?
I know these kind of thinking is relatively new even in Nepalese marketing, and I was told by one of my colleagues that there were some memes that has to be taken off recently, when one brand was trying to do that for another one, therefore it's basically how do you draw the line, because for established brands sometimes it could be very challenging to kind of questions your old thinking, because from my understanding memes is not always very straightforward, like it could be funny, it could be a little negative as well. Therefore as a like, if you ask me, I haven't find the right way to do that as of now. But yes, I know that there are situations where the brands have utilized it in a very positive way in some global contexts, like the one I suppose that happened with Coke when it involves Ronaldo, therefore, yeah, that's how I think we are learning in process in that particular sector.
I see. Another question comes from Anjana Nagarkoti. She asks, while creating creative advertisements, how does Outreach Nepal evaluate the prejudices and sentiments that the Nepalese customers carry?
Okay, basically, Outreach is the agency that believes in creative business ideas. Okay, I don't know if you know about this. This is our tagline. We call ourselves the agency that believes in creative business ideas. Therefore, we don't call it creative ideas only. It has to be business driven. And I myself have been advocating about it for quite some time, where I say to all my team members and all the others that interact with me, if it's just a nice creative, it's very nice to hang it in the wall and appreciate it, but it has no meaning if it doesn't give you business values.
Right.
Therefore, you might be wondering, how does it relate? Therefore, basically, Outreach is the agency that believes in consumer insights. Therefore, we do a lot of interactions with consumers before we decide on certain idea or a certain route that we want to take for that thinking in relevance to the consumers that we are trying to cater to. Sometimes that consumer could be a specific target audience, like a youth or a woman or a male or high strata, like social strata, like people
Right.
or mass, like it all depends upon whom you want to reach out and how much they value the thinking that we have. Therefore, it is all done with regard to target audience.
I see. Thank you for the answer, sir. Another question for you is, how are the nature and the scope of advertising and brand building through traditional media, such as television and newspapers, changing in this age?
It is changing very fast, like I said in my thought in the beginning as
Yes.
well. And things have started to change even before COVID. Like people might think that it started to expedite further during COVID, and yes, it has. But then it has started to happen even before that. As an
Right.
agency group, we understood this very beginning. Therefore, we have our own digital agency called Digital In since 9 years. So we kind of envision it almost 10 years back. And we have a whole separate team working only on digital. But like I said, you cannot just mix it, and you cannot segregate and say that this is traditional media like TV, radio, print, outdoor, and this is a digital media. It all goes hand in hand. It has to
Right.
all be integrated when you want to reach out to your consumers. But then, having said that, even in South Asia, because I suppose we cannot compare ourselves with Western worlds. We have a more evolved and more organized market. In
Right.
South Asian markets are relatively unorganized, like which we can relate to as in Nepal. Therefore,
Mhm.
even if you see some of these markets, and recently when I was going to the ADEX of India, I saw that TV is still a number one medium to communicate to the consumers, and digital is number two, which used to be print in the past. But digital has become number two, and print has moved down to number three positions. Therefore, if you see the Western worlds like US, I suppose digital is number one, TV is number two, like this. So it's all changing fast, but it doesn't mean that the traditional media like TV, radio, print, outdoor, and other ways of communication might go away. It will all be
Right.
part of the same. It was the same discussion, I suppose, they had when TV was getting invented for the first time. People thought the
Mhm.
radio will not be there, but you
Right.
can see the radio is still there, right? When radio was coming in, people thought the print will not be there, but print was still there, even when we are doing business, right? Therefore, it is all going to stay and going to have their own role, but it will be kind of to be utilized in such a way that it complement each other. It doesn't supplement each other. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much for the answer, sir. Regarding that question, I myself have a personal curiosity. Do you think that TV, television as a media will fall out of popularity in the coming decades in Nepal? Or do you think it will still be the number one form of consumption to the everyday users?
See, in this world where companies are very short-lived, our thinkings are very short-lived. There are companies which doesn't last even 15 years. They do very good for first 15 years and they die away, right? So we cannot envision everything for a very long period of time. But for next 5 years, if you really ask me as a professional, who has spent around 20 years of my life in this
Right.
industry, I feel that in our part of the world, South Asia, like
Mm.
TV will still be relevant for at least next 5 years. We don't know what is going to happen after 5 years because technologies are bringing things changing like anything. You know, but that
Mhm.
doesn't mean that digital won't be there. Of course, digital is also very relevant, and like I said, in India, it's already number two after TV. You know, what matters is content. Because what people are
Right.
looking at is not the vehicle. Like where it comes. They are not looking out for TV, or they're not looking out for digital, or they're not looking out for radio. Even Spotify is going big in our part of the world, which is almost similar
Right.
like radio, right? Therefore, in that
Mhm.
context, what I see is what people are looking at is entertainment, right? People are looking
Right.
at is content, their kind of content. Therefore, if that content is getting delivered through TV, people will watch TV. If that content is getting delivered through digital, they will go to digital. And if that content is getting delivered to radio or Spotify or any other format, they will go there.
Right. Thank you so much, sir. The next question from our registrants says, What is your advice to a struggling startup which is at an initial phase and wants to accelerate and strengthen its brand?
See, it depends on whatever startup you have. If it is a
Mhm.
like I was a startup like 20 years back, right? I mean, like 18 years back. I started in 2003.
Right.
Therefore, I suppose as a startup, and it was only 5 people when I started, including myself, right?
Mhm.
Therefore, and today we are almost 100 plus people, working together, even during the pandemic period. Uh,
Right.
Therefore, when you start off, I suppose you have to have some vision in terms of long term. Like you cannot look at profits or your requirements in the very first year or second year. Therefore, at least
Mhm.
it should be a vision to sustain yourself for next 3 to 4 years or 5 years. That is there. Of course, team is going to be very very important in any business, and more
Mhm.
so if it is a thinking business like ours. My business I consider more of a thinking business. It's all about people. It's all about talents that we have, right? Therefore, the team is going to be relevant. Like and you have to make sure that they are intact. They remains with you for a longer period of time because
Right.
they learn in the process. And all those experience are so valuable. A lot of things that
Mhm.
I can say right now or I can suggest right now, I can do it maybe in two hours, time. But
Right.
same thing if I was to do 10 years back, it would have taken me 5 years, 5 days, right? 5 days, because
Right.
it's possible today because of my experience of working for so many years. And same with the
I
team,
see.
right? Same with the team that we have. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. At this point, I'd like to ask the audience members if they have any questions for Mr. Ujay. We do have some more questions. Okay, Suraj, he has raised his hand. Go ahead, Suraj, unmute yourself.
So thank you for the opportunity for giving me to ask some questions. So first of all, I would like to thank Ujaya Shakya sir for his wonderful presentation. And he talked about marketing technology, integrated approach, finding new ways for same or new things, and disruption as well. So traditional way. So my question is that so marketing is done in every other fields, but what are the unique challenges when the person is reaching or engaging with the customers? So problems faced by the entrepreneurs while engaging or reaching with customers, I guess.
Suraj, right?
Yes, sir.
So do you mean to say B2B business or B2C business? Business to consumers, like like FMCG, like toothpaste, it's a soaps,
Uh,
shampoo, right? A B2B business, like my business. My business is B2B. I don't reach out to consumer. I reach out to Unilever. I reach out to the Ncell. I work with Samsung, right? They are my customers. So can you clarify on that, Suraj?
so I think my perspective is based upon business to business one.
Okay, business to business. Okay, business to business is a little different. Like I suppose in business to business context, you have to first of all understand which are the kind of clients you would like to have. Very frankly, even with outreach, we have certain areas where we are strong and certain areas where we are weak as well. Even with 18 years of our experience in this market. Like for example, we've been very strong with multinational brands, with global brands, organized advertisers. But we've been a little weak with local companies. We've been a little weak with maybe I don't want to like think like that because I'm thinking how to get involved with more of the startup businesses as we go along from here because they are going to be important. But then even with the new startup businesses, like my team has not been able or has not been very comfortable working, right? Therefore, you have to first of all understand what is your strength, and what is not just your strength, also your team strength. Because it's not just you, right? You cannot be everywhere. Like because we have so many clients, I can be only be there with so many clients at certain point of time. Therefore, it's a
Right.
team that need to be there, the team that has to be more comfortable. Therefore, I suppose it's always about understanding what is your strength, the SWOT analysis that we do, as we all understand strength, weakness, opportunity, and traits, right? And what
Right.
are the opportunities that you can map? Like for example, even for us, when we started off, we realized that a lot of global companies that has sales, they have proper sales and distribution network in this country, were not having a good marketing partners, who can provide them thinkings, not just advertising space. Selling an advertising space is different thing, but it's more about thinking, like the whole process, like consumer insights and all the other things that I spoke about in the beginning. Therefore, we realized that we are more good at these kind of arrangements. Therefore, we went out to like meeting those clients only, and we left out certain clients where we thought that that is not going to be a competitive edge for us. Therefore, it's all about understanding your strength, looking at the opportunities that are available in the market, and then trying to connect with them. Does that help, Suraj?
Thank you, sir, for clearing my confusion.
Sure.
Do you have any more questions, Suraj?
So it's like business to business बुझे हैन but curiosity ले चाहिँ अब business to consumer पनि बुझ्न मन लाग्यो
ओके, बिजनेस टु कन्ज्युमर त अब हामीले सधैँ नै गर्ने चिज भयो. मेरो टिमको बढी कामै त्यसैमा हुन्छ. दो मेरो क्लाइन्ट चाहिँ बिजनेस टु बिजनेस हो, तर मेरो क्लाइन्टको क्लाइन्ट चाहिँ नि कस्टमर चाहिँ सबै बिजनेस टु कस्टमर हो नि त, कन्ज्युमर हो नि त, होइन. लाइक फर इक्जाम्पल अघि मैले इक्जाम्पल दिएँ, होइन, टुथपेस्ट. होइन, टुथपेस्ट चाहिँ नि घरमा सबैले युज गर्छ, तर टुथपेस्ट जेनरली कसले पर्चेस गर्छ भन्दाखेरि वुमेन इन द हाउस, क्या, उसले डिसाइड गर्छ जेनरली. इन अ फ्यामिली टुथपेस्ट भयो, चिया भयो, होइन, चिया सबैले खान्छ, तर पर्चेस डिसिजन कसले गर्छ त वुमेनले गर्छ, राइट. भनेपछि हामीले क्याम्पेन बनाउँदाखेरि त्यति वुमेनलाई सोचेर बनाउनु पऱ्यो क्या, होइन. अर्को एउटा ब्रान्ड छ जस्तै हामी नै इन्भल्भ भएको लङ टाइम ब्याक, सिन्स लङ टाइम ब्याक, कम्प्लान भन्ने ब्रान्ड, होइन. अब कम्प्लान चाहिँ बच्चाले खान्छ, खाना चाहिँ, होइन, बच्चाले चाहिने सप्लिमेन्ट हो त्यो, होइन. तर त्यो किन्छ कसले, आमाले किन्छ नि त, होइन, जसको 25+ बिहे भइसकेको, 5-6 वर्षको भन्दा माथिको, 5-6 वर्षदेखि 10-12 वर्षको बच्चा जसको छ, होइन, भनेपछि सी विल बी अराउन्ड 25 to 35 इयर्सको उमेरमा भएको म्यारिड वुमेनले किन्छ नि त, होइन. भनेपछि उहाँलाई हेरिकन हामीले क्याम्पेनिङहरू गर्नु पऱ्यो क्या. Does that help?
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
So, sir, my takeaway from this is that you need to have a specific target audience in mind when you are modeling any of your advertising campaigns. You need to think what kind of a target audience you are trying to cater to. Is my understanding correct, sir, or am I mistaken?
No, exactly. It's always about whom you want to reach, and you need to understand them. What is their language? What is their
Right.
Socioeconomic class? What is their understanding and comprehensive level? That you might do a campaign that might look very nice, but if they don't comprehend, like for example, there are a lot of mass brands sometimes that we work with, and my friends, they complain, costa ad banayeko, but then it's not meant to them, it's meant for the other people in the mass level.
Right.
Therefore, they need to understand, they need to comprehend, they need to, like take by that thought, not us.
Right. So at this point, I would like to give out some information to the audience. Is that fine with you? I'll take just 1 or 2 minutes.
Sure, please.
Okay, so as the audience members might be aware, we are handing out certificates for attending this digital event. If you do want to be certified after attending this event, kindly fill out the attendance form, which will be made available to you in the Zoom chat. We will wait for you for a few minutes while you fill that out. Okay, while the audience members are filling that form out, sir, I have a personal question to ask you. Oftentimes, what happens when we're trying to market something is that we encounter a predicament. See, if we establish a target audience, it feels as if we are limiting our scope. We are limiting the amount of people that we are trying to reach. However, based on things that you have said and based on the things that we have learned from the past, if we don't set a specific target audience, then oftentimes the target of reaching a larger amount of people backfires. And when you don't establish a specific target audience, you don't reach many people. So how to deal with that, sir? For example, Nexa is trying to cater to youth, especially those who have graduated their 12th or are in the 11th or 12th grade, in that range. But oftentimes we end up thinking, okay, if we make something like this, then it won't cater to such kinds of people and they might be repelled. So how to overcome this, or what to do about this?
Okay, there is a larger discussion right now going on where people are even having similar thoughts like yourself, But
Mhm.
because I come from a traditional marketing thinking, like I'm sure I need to upgrade myself as well as we move from here, because learning is the continuous journey, as we all know, to get
Yes, sir.
updated ourselves, like. But then you are right. There is one thinking that is also coming, that how to cater to people beyond our own spectrum. Otherwise, our business will not expand, right?
Right. Definitely.
Therefore, that challenges always remain. But having said that, the brand also evolves. Like I don't know how many of you have done a marketing studies or business studies, because from my understanding, you guys come from more from a computer science background. Is my understanding. I
Yes,
might be wrong here. You
definitely.
know, there is a whole thinking of product life cycles.
Mhm.
For any companies, any brand, even it applies to my company as well. It applies to certain brands that is sold in the market as well. In fact, it must be surely there in that internet, because in internet nowadays you can look at anything, right? Therefore, there is a
Yes, sir.
whole concept of introductory growth, maturity, and once the product or company is mature, it degrow, a little bit. And if you
Mhm.
reinvent or revitalize yourself, it again grow. Company
Right.
who is not able to re-engage, revitalize, or rethink on their approach, they don't grow further from there. But
Mhm.
company who is able to do that, they grow again after they reach its maturities and go to degrowth. And that's the reason you see that all the brands are always coming out with new packaging. Technology products are always upgrading themselves to version 1, version 2, version 3, version 4. That's the whole process. Therefore, in
Right, sir.
that regard, I feel that when you start off, maybe you have a limited niche kind of a target audience. But as the
Mhm.
brand become larger, like I was told that, even for that matter, the brand Horlicks started as a prescription brand. Somebody
Wow.
was telling me the other day, it used to get
Right.
prescribed by the doctor. It was like a medicine product. But then look at
Understood.
Horlicks right now. It is one of the largest brands in the country, right? You just
Right.
purchase it. Like if you are going to visit somebody in the hospital, you purchase it. If you are going to visit an old person, you purchase it. If you don't like to drink tea or something like that, you drink Horlicks at your home. Like so many things you do with that particular brand today. Therefore, their
Yes.
target audience has evolved from a prescription customers to a whole mass. Like almost you can say that it reaches out to all kind of age groups, all kind of genders,
Yes.
all kind of social economic strata, right? Therefore, the brand
Right.
evolves, and you can also evolve with the process.
Understood, sir. Thank you so much for that answer. At this point, I think it's best to move to the third phase of the webinar, where you present some of the things that you have prepared to the audience. I believe we don't have any more questions from our audience. We will give a few
I, I
seconds to the
saw
audience.
I saw one question. We can quickly take that, and then if you guys are good, then I can showcase some of the work that we've done. We have been doing as a team,
Sure, sir. Yes,
so that you understand, the kind of work that is happening in Nepal. Okay.
definitely,
Uh,
sir. Go
I
ahead.
just saw a question which says, how much should a software company focus on advertising? What
Mhm.
percentage of effort should be given to product, and what percentage of to the marketing in general? Now, very frankly, I have never done marketing for a software company.
Right.
Unfortunate, I would say. But then, yes, we've been working with Daraz for a very long time. You know, so we started working with them when they were Kemu, and now they become Daraz. They have a very large base, like I said in the beginning. We also
Right.
had an opportunity to work with Biver in the beginning when they came to Nepal. Therefore, that is also there if you consider that a software company. But what
Right.
I'm trying to tell here is, it also again depends upon, are you trying to sell this software to certain industries where it is more like a B2B, business to business, like a banking software or a health software, which is largely used by hospitals, or accounting software, which is used by almost all the businesses, but largely B2B? Or are you trying to talk about the app, which is generally going to consumers like Tinders, right? Like Facebook,
Right.
like Instagram. Like I suppose I see a lot of ads from InDrive right now. They're trying to, I suppose, launch in Nepal. Therefore, if it all depends upon that. But then what a traditional thought is, When it comes to FMCG, because FMCG, fast moving consumer goods like shampoos, like soap, like toothpaste, like tea, like coffee, these products, which is utilized by everybody, they are considered to be the benchmark of advertising, at least till now. It might change as we go from here. So the practice is to allocate around 5 to 10% of your whole business on the marketing frontiers. Therefore, it depends
Right.
upon, maybe during the introductory phase you launch, you do it 10%, but then as you go become bigger, people, there is total awareness to certain level, then maybe you decrease it to certain levels. Like, therefore the expert like us work with the client to decide on that. Therefore maybe
Right.
that helps when I tell you this right now. I hope it helps to Roman.
I believe Rayan Kumar Sapkota has some questions to ask. Rayan, you may go ahead. This is possibly the last question that we pose to Mr. Ujay today.
Sure.
नमस्ते उदय सर
Namaste, Riyanji.
म रियान वान अफ द बोर्ड मेम्बर सेटनिक सर अब म नेपालमै सोध्न कम्फर्टेबल मान्छु फर प्रफिट कम्पनी जसले चाहिँ मोनिटरीमा आफ्नो पैसामा आफ्नो भ्यालु डिटर्माइन गर्न सक्छ उसले त आफ्नो इम्प्लोइजलाई स्यालेरी बेनिफिट्सबाट इन्सेन्टिभाइज गर्छ हामी जस्तो नन प्रफिट अर्गनाइजेसन नेपाल कम्प्युटर साइन्स अलायन्स जस्तो नन प्रफिटले कसरी चाहिँ आफ्नो इम्प्लोइज अथवा वर्क फोर्सबाट 100% एक्सट्र्याक्ट गर्नलाई इन्सेन्टिभाइज गर्ने हामीसँग मोनिटरी भ्यालु त हुन्न त्यो खण्डमा केलाई चाहिँ इन्सेन्टिभ बनाएर अगाडि बढ्न सकिन्छ
यो मेरो लागि अलिक गाह्रो क्वेसन भयो लाइक I have been part of such association like Advertising Association of Nepal, and you rightly said that it's been quite challenging over there as well. It's not not a very profit business, like it's not for profit kind. It's more for the industry, and I'm sure you guys are trying to do the similar alliance here, where it's more on computer science, technology, or like from my understanding, because it's very unfortunate that I just came across your association recently when you guys approached me. I didn't know about it before, but then it's the, I think people like yourself. I talked to Razul today and Rehan right now. I'm sure you guys have come together, and there are others as well, I suppose, who's come together to kind of evolve the ecosystem, right? Like I said, the market, like I'm maybe a lot of things that I do. Like for example, I agreed to come and speak with you guys today during my office hour.
Right.
My office is still going on. It's just people are just leaving right now. I'll also leave. But then it's because I feel that this might help to evolve my marketing ecosystem. Like, right. Therefore, I'm sure you guys are trying to do the same, and maybe your team also need to know this, that it's sometimes you just don't work for incentives, you work for the industry as well, or a passion, right? And I'm sure you guys have come together because of the passion that you have for this industry that you are trying, or of this alliance that you have. Therefore, it's a similar thought process. A lot of sessions that I do, I go about doing it in institutes, like these are all because I want a lot of new talents like yourself to join my industry, because that's the only way we can evolve it, right? Because there will be new thinking that will come across. But then even the young guys like yourself need to understand that you need to have a patience. I've reached here after 20 years of my life, therefore
Right.
you don't just reach there just by working for 1 or 2 years, right? You just of course you might be more talented, and where I've reached in 20 years, maybe you'll reach in 5 years, but then you need to give some time, right? Because the career, like I said, is a journey. If the health permits, the career is a journey of around 35 to 40 years. You have to understand that. And it's like a Hindi movie that we all watch, there is an interval in between. Therefore, before interval where you reach and after interval where you reach is what is going to determine if you become successful or not. And I feel that the most important part is the after interval part, because it's all about winning the race at the end, not in the beginning. It's in the beginning it's more about foundation, and in the in the second half of your career it's more about your achievements. And to achieve more in the second half of your career, your mind need to get more broad. You need to have more experience. Like in the beginning, you can do that with your education as well. Yeah, that is my thing. I hope that helps.
It will, sir. It will. Thank you very much.
Rian, was that the end of your questions?
Yeah. Anyone?
Okay.
We have some more questions.
I don't think we have any more questions. We had ample time for the audience members to ask questions. If they do have, and if Ujay sir is comfortable with it, you can go ahead now, but we won't be waiting for very long before we conclude the event. Okay, so I guess there aren't any more questions. Thank you so much, Ujay sir, for agreeing to do this and for the information of the audience members and those who are watching us from Facebook Live. Ujay sir, it is through his generosity that this webinar has been possible. We, being a non-profit organization, aren't able to provide any incentives to the guest speakers that come here and speak. And Ujay sir has been generous enough to accept this request of ours to come here and give a talk on transformation in the marketing ecosystem, disruptions, and in accepting all of the questions from the audience members as well as from us. Thank you so much, Ujay sir, again. This formally concludes our webinar for today. Pratyush, you may end the broadcast. Ujay sir, we will be sending you a follow-up email regarding some more details about what we need more from you, for example, a digital signature in order to distribute the certificates and things like that. And we'll definitely be in touch with you for our future endeavors and many other things. Anything you had to share with us, sir?
No, just the last point. Thank you once again for this opportunity. Obviously, I have not
privilege
come
is
here
ours.
for any incentive. I want to learn from you guys as well. A younger mind who is trying. It seems like you guys are trying to do something. And it felt good that there is such alliance. I was not aware, but now I'm aware. If I felt good about it as well, that some young minds have come together to form it and do something, because technology is going to become more and more big as we move from here. I hope I'm able to inspire a few of you to be a human being, potential good professionals as you guys move from here, and more emphatic towards each other. I think that's going to be more and more important as we move in this world, which is going to be very different, I suppose. Yeah.
Definitely, sir. Thank you so much for the inspiring words. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Ujay, sir.
Bye. Bye.